Hello and welcome to the OverCope Podcast. This is week 3, and I'm your host, Motor, joined by Mick and B, as always.
Hello.
And we weren't blessed by the Blizzard gods. we weren't blessed by the Blizzard overlords. We were kind of holding out hope last week. We talked about it quite a bit with like patch notes coming up, mid-season patch. It's going to be something big. It wasn't really that big. Although, I say this, I am just being a doomer because big Mauga nerfs, but it wasn't as big as I think we were kind of hoping it could be.
I think it was okay. I would say that the patches. So the patches, like some of the changes, is like a massive miss, and some of the changes are like a like dead on good hit, right?
Yeah.
So for me at least, it's like I could have hoped for more, and I could have hoped for stuff that made more sense as well. The stuff, but we did address stuff that mattered, right? So
Yeah.
so maybe in 2 months, with the new season, we're moving towards a game that's a bit more fun to play. That is what I'd say.
Hopefully. Let's just transition straight into it. We can just start talking about the patch notes because that is the first topic for today, is the patch notes. Some rightfully justified Mauga nerfs.
Yeah,
Do we think this is Mauga meta done for the time being, or do we think that he's still going to be quite powerful?
meta done for sure. Uh, Useless, no.
Is he? If I came to you and I said, I wanna play ranked, give me like the optimal heroes, because some heroes you just say like, you tell me like these are certain dive maps where play Winston, this is a poke map, so go play Sigma. Would you be telling me to put Morgan into my hero pool, or would you be giving me other options right now?
I would always tell everyone to play what they like, what they find fun.
Okay, I'm asking you what's best there, because I'm a meta slave. So what's best right now,
Yeah,
Mick
but
and B?
um, well, it's not. I don't think it's going to be Morga anymore. I think Morga is like scratching the like below the good ones now. I think we're going to see a significant amount of like Sigma returning, Ramatra as well. Um, I think, especially because like I think with the changes of Morga, the thing is that Morga can realistically be pressured out now, whereas before it was like people were saying before like, oh, anti-nade and like poke damage, like Hanzo, Ash, Sojourn, like it's going to make him not be able to play the game, and it kind of wasn't true because the sustain was just too good. But now that we've removed the sustain a little bit, and also the pressure that he can provide a little bit, I think we're going to look at other tanks being able to take him on, and I think the sort of like the strategy was always like in at least like lower elos was to like go Ana and like try to anti the Morga a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot more viable now. I think that's detrimental to him now, honestly. In some degree. So you certainly have to play a lot smarter around your charge and your E cooldown, right? Like that cannot be used as carelessly anymore. So I think we're looking at like just like out of the gates, like a day after the patch day. 'Cause we're recording on a Thursday. Don't tell anyone. Um, but we don't mention that. But out of the gates, we are looking at like a strong Sigma, a strong Ram, and potentially a strong Orisa. I don't know how to feel about Orisa because I think Orisa still struggles against pretty much like Ram and Sigma, but I think Orisa with her change to Fortify will be dominating more in ranked. I think so. Um,
Yeah. That well, we kind of
the range,
we spoke about
the
it on
range,
stream. I mean, yeah, the range as well. We
the
kind of spoke.
range is going to be good, and also the like the Fortify buff here is like that is directly so that she has a better matchup into Morga, and I think if you play correctly with your backline and you provide pressure from the right dist, I think Orisa just tears into Morga now. like a
Yeah.
lot more than he will be able to deal with, and she will be there. So it's going to be very hard to sort of like gauge the meta, but like I think we're going back to what we had before Morga, with Morga having some fair matchups and some perhaps less fair matchups now.
Do you think? I guess the fall off damage. I was kind of thinking about this. So it's like obviously now it gives her a much better opportunity to outrange Morga and poke him down from a distance. But do you think it also kind of helps Orisa in like a much poke heavier meta where it was like Sigma could just always outdistance her, and obviously Sigma wins that poke matchup. But now with the damage fall off reduced, Orisa can literally sit at any distance and just poke Sigma out. It could actually stand at a distance that's out of Sigma's range completely and poke him out, and gives her a much better opportunity to win poke matchups. Do you think that's like a bit of a
But I mean, Orisa always had the better distance matchup than Sigma, to be fair. Like, you want your like the reason Sigma does incredibly poor against Orisa is the fact that like his abilities can be traded very convincingly for holding space, right?
yeah,
Against an Orisa. Like that's the thing though, right? It's like it's grasp, it's shield, it's rock. That's what's going to make the tank trade up like be better. Like if you're playing Orisa versus Sigma, like you are looking for the backline. Both scenarios, right? Like you are looking for the backline a lot more than anything.
yeah.
Um Whereas Orisa might be trying to like stop Sigma and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know. Like I don't think the distance really necessarily does a whole lot. Like I mean, you can outrange Sigma a lot easier, but you already did outrange Sigma.
To be
So
fair, I kind of thought that that matchup kind of worked. Like Orisa needs to get close to deal with Sigma. I'm not. I'm going to be completely honest. That was maybe me
that's
misunderstanding
just
that matchup then.
no, not necessarily, because the thing is like you do want to get close because you want to spear like rock, and you want to spear grasp like from the side or behind even, and you want to displace him with your E, right? Like so you do want to get close if you want to like bust up the tank. 100% you do want to do that. But I'm just saying you did already outrange him, so you could already do that. You could
Yeah,
already sit at a distance and poke him. I think it's not like a worthwhile trade. Like that's the thing about Orisa, is like you probably do want to actually like get in there, because it's not a worthwhile trade for you to spend that much time trying to break a shield and get through a grasp and then like spear, you know?
yeah. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so and then also I said like Sigma has just been working better with the meta characters, right? Like Sigma just does more for the meta characters. So
yeah. So
I think we're just looking at like kind of like Orisa is gonna be very strong against like a Morga, but like in general we're probably looking at like Ram Sigma kind of angle. I think Ram is gonna rise up now. I think because the buffs to Ram was like kind of like really good. It was just that we couldn't really apply them because you just
Morga.
play like Morga and then you just have to like block
Yeah, the
and
extra
not do
100 armor
anything.
just meant you like didn't die when you popped Nemesis. You could actually effectively block all of his shots for 8 seconds.
Yeah,
Fuck.
exactly right. So I'm thinking like that. That's the kind of angle. Take it with a pinch of salt. It's just what I think.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see that. I could definitely see that. And I mean, well, yeah, all of the changes to be fair, because he also had like a damage increase as well of like 0.5 per projectile, which is quite nice. I could definitely see Ram coming back into the meta, to be fair, um, which I don't hate. I kind of realised I've asked you a lot of questions. I haven't given my opinion a single time yet. This podcast,
Yeah, go for it. Go for
I
it.
turned it into an interview. Um, I feel like Morga is. I don't think he's gonna in the higher ends. I don't think he's even gonna like be used that much unless there's some like because there probably already is some like Morga one trick who's like gonna one trick Morga to rank one, but like I could very much just see him completely falling out at the higher end. Um, I just feel like maybe this is more like anecdotal, but um, even when I was playing him, it was like the enemy team would just like go Ana, and then they go Kiriko, and then they go Sigma, and even put a Bastion in there, which even though Mauga wins the 1v1, when it's like you get the bleed down and then you pop your E on the Bastion and then it gets cleansed and then you get antied, and then it was like, well, I've not been able to put out any direct pressure. Well, obviously forcing cooldowns, but
Well, you have. I was gonna say that is
yeah,
literally the definition of pressure.
you have forced out cooldowns, but you know,
You have. No,
yeah,
but that's the thing though. That's the thing that tanks don't understand is that if you're
yeah,
forcing like 4 cooldowns and everyone to look at you, you're creating massive value. That the only thing is like if you overcommit and die, then that's really bad. But if you like effectively dance around your E there and get out with your charge, that is value. That is massive value. That is we cannot sit down and say that is you being countered, because that is not you being countered. That is you providing the value that tanks provide, which is
yeah,
forcing cooldowns.
yeah. Okay, that's a fair point.
Uh,
What I would say though is like, then you had to like give up loads of space and stuff, and
it might not be
sometimes
fun, but you're
yeah,
confusing fun with value here.
yeah.
It might not be fun.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
I,
No,
I
I
understand.
agree.
I
I agree.
understand you want the tank that just goes in and kills everything because ha 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 hilarious, but that is not necessarily value. Guy
Okay.
just wants the overpowered tanks that just
Yeah, I
kills
do.
everyone.
Just want. Yeah, of course I do. But
No, but that would be too easy though. That would be too easy. That would be
there's
broken.
no such thing. But yeah, like
Yes.
it
Yes,
felt in
yes,
those
there is such a
situations that
thing.
it was like, you know, you get the 10 seconds of like, okay, now for 10 seconds I have to go chill. Now like it's 12 seconds of having to chill. You can't necessarily take. We did actually have a look at the Bastion. You can take the Bastion 1v1, but I feel like there is the downtime for Morgan now is going to be a little bit higher, of being able to like actually go in and properly force cooldowns. Obviously, you can still force a lot of pressure without the
Oh, of
cardiac
course,
overdrive,
there's no
but
doubt that he is worse now. I'm just saying, like what
yeah,
you said was like you being countered and not getting value was actually you getting a ton of value, ton of
yeah,
value.
ton of value.
That was a
Take that
massive
team
value. Now, of course, if you overstay your welcome and
and
get
die.
blown up,
Yeah,
then it's not a ton of value. But like if you, because the thing is like, do you have to chill until you have your E back if you forced all those cooldowns? No, you just have to chill until you're full HP again, and then you can go. Because it doesn't matter that you don't have your E, because they don't have their shift, they don't have their nade, they don't have their like what do I know, like shield rock, whatever cooldowns you have forced in that process. Grasp,
yeah,
yeah. So like I'm not like I am still saying that is being a victim of understanding value versus feeling like you're getting value, because it doesn't feel nice, but it's actually a ton of value. And then you might say, but that's boring. And it's like, I'm sorry, but that's your role. That is your role. That is what you do.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, my point was like you're. Okay, maybe he didn't struggle, and maybe in those situations I wasn't struggling, and maybe I was just coping. But it felt like at times, you know, trying to force value. It was a slow process anyway, and I feel like it's going to be a slower process now. In those matchups where it was like you have to force out so many layers of cooldowns before you can even like consider going in to get a pick levels of value.
Yeah.
And I
I
feel
mean, we
like
do agree it's
now,
not fun, but we don't agree that it's not value. Those are two different things.
I know it's value. I know it's value. It's just,
It's massive value. It's great value.
it's just, it's not the greatest. It isn't like you said. It's not the greatest feeling. I can't
You
complain though,
you
'cause
wanna be able to
I had
play
my
the
time
game
in the
for
fun.
free with no
Time in fun.
resistance on the tank. You wanna be able to just
Yeah,
press W, dive the backline for free with no resistance.
yeah.
I understand. I
I
understand
want
how
them
the
to,
tank format.
I want
You
them
just
to
want it
drop
to be
10
easy
cooldowns
on
on me and
tank.
me be able to just be like whatever and kill them anyway.
Yeah, yeah. That sounds fair. That sounds
Yeah,
like great. That sounds like great game design, Rowan. I'm very
and then I
happy
think we
you
should ban KSA
decided to do
and
that.
Smurf and
Ah, okay.
Shoyoven and Zebra and like all the top 500 tanks as well, so I can be rank 1.
Ah, right. Okay. Fair. I think there's a middle ground where like you force some cooldowns, and then also you get to perhaps earn your right to play aggressive.
Yeah.
I think there's a middle ground where like you earn your tempo. I think you
Go
need to
away,
earn
man.
your tempo.
Go away, man.
Um, you're just missing like early Overwatch like overpowered tanks because you're like if I
Yeah.
I wasn't good back then but now I'm good, so if I had the overpowered tanks I'd climb.
Yeah, but then you remember everybody else also had the overpowered tanks.
Yeah, and it's like the past looks a lot more green than in reality is.
Yeah, I
It's like
never played
you
like we said, I never played main tank, so I never actually had to experience like the frozen, shield bashed, flashbanged, shattered, pinned, graved experience. I never had that. I was just like, I was
I
just
certainly
chilling,
had
to
a
be
few
honest.
I had a few main tank experiences, I will say, on
Yeah.
Reinhardt. I got the chain CC was not fun.
No,
Not fun.
to be fair, even as an off tank, you did sometimes get hit with the chain CC and you did not enjoy it. But
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah. Anyway,
Orga.
that's that. Yeah. Well,
Where do we position Morgan? I think we knock him from like an S tier into like a B tier.
probably. Yeah. I don't.
He's right under the A tier, I think, right? Like in like the A tier, like we're looking at like the thing is like have we reached a point where there is no S tier? Because I'm thinking maybe Ram goes into S tier then, right? But like I'm not sure per se. It's just a little bit of like what did we have before Morga? Ram seemed to be doing pretty strong in the
Sig.
meta. Sig was doing pretty strong in the meta.
Queen.
Uh,
What?
yeah, Queen as well, but Queen is definitely not like she's maybe an A tier. She's not like ass. That's
What
for sure.
did we have? I can't even remember what we put in the tier list
I mean,
as
we put Morga as like the thing is that tier list doesn't make sense anymore because that tier list was based off of Morga being very very strong, right? So I wouldn't
yeah,
even bother looking honestly, because like
unlucky.
there's no shot that any of this is the way it was before, right? Like we
Yeah.
have not. I think currently it's something like Ram S, Morga is like in B, and then in A tier we're looking at like thick sort of like Orisa Queen, something like that. I think that's where we're looking.
Did you say A for Sig Arissa Queen?
Yeah, something like that.
Where does Doom fall then?
Yeah.
Doom doesn't drop. Doom does not drop all the way to B.
No, he might stay. I think maybe actually like a B. Yeah, he might actually drop to a B. Um,
Damn.
he might. But
Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't really matter. I said like it's it's just speculation at this point because we'll have to see where it actually ends up going. I think we should
Yeah.
probably get some of the other nerfs and
Yeah.
buffs in talk as well.
I absolutely love the last tank change. Absolutely love this change to Roadhog because he felt so annoying and unkillable all of the time in games. I
Yeah.
I minor Roadhog rant incoming. I feel like his play style now is just like I don't enjoy it. Like I don't enjoy it. I know this is again man killed by rank, by Overwatch ranked. Um, but like just getting hooked on cooldown, it feels like as tank because maybe it's just like the way that it's played at this elo because I make so many mistakes. But it's like everywhere you go, it's just like hook after hook after hook on the tank, always displacing you, always like just trying to annoy you basically, is what it felt like. So I know you have your opinions on that because it is anecdotal, and he still does want to get value on the back line, but it annoyed me, and I think he was maybe a little bit too survivable.
I
And
mean, if he's too survivable, it's just a matter of like, are you playing into a tank that you shouldn't be playing into? Like, are you trying to like force value on a character that you shouldn't be? Like, are you not like going for the right targets here, right? Essentially, are you not
yeah,
using your map to your advantage and whatnot? I will say Hawk has been really really strong. Like, especially like at the higher end, he has been a lot stronger than at the lower end. So there's an argument to be made that he
yeah,
was a. I think Roadhog is the same thing as so many other things, where it's like an identity crisis. Like it doesn't work very well in like a tank scene. where he's like either numerically just able to put out so much pressure and sustain that it's too good, or like you nerf the numbers down to a point where it's like he just falls over because he's
Yeah.
such a big hitbox, like such a big character. Without any real mitigation, I will say like he has a little bit with take a breather, right? But it's not real mitigation
Yeah.
because like taking like less damage, but then also like standing still as a big hitbox, it like doesn't matter because there's enough burst damage in the game that you just melt anyway. Um, but yeah, I think that just to like not go over like all of the philosophy and whatnot, I think it's a good change. I think it's not a change that's going to change gameplay, which is ideally what we would have liked to see, but it is a change that takes his win rate and bumps it down a little bit. It opens like vulnerability opportunities, right? A little bit more.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's fine.
This
It's a good
is
change.
this next change is probably the most interesting of the patch, I would say.
I disagree. I think the Mauga change is arguably more interesting, but yeah, sure.
Okay, I find it more interesting because I feel like the Blizzard devs failed to cook and burnt a house down.
Yeah, I mean we do agree. The change
Yeah.
is tone deaf to say the least.
If we were to go back and have a reference look at our tier list for DPS, we put Sojourn in S tier. Again, that was kind of based around Mauga being meta, but I feel like we kind of also agreed that Sojourn is not just. We didn't just put her there because of Mauga.
No,
That
she's
was not
no,
part
no.
of that. She is a
That had
meta
nothing
pick.
to do with that. She's just a meta pick, yeah. She definitely is.
Um,
And she was already an incredibly strong character. So
and didn't need a buff that gave her higher uptime. It wasn't even. It's not even like there's a trade-off where it's like they've kind of changed her playstyle so she has a higher uptime, maybe like less damage or something. It's just she's remained the same in every aspect except now you don't have to farm that 25 charge, which means that you can get up to 100 and essentially one-tap people at the start of a fight quicker.
it's something like I don't have the exact numbers because I only played around with it like a little bit. But essentially the way you have to think about it is that before if a Sojourn had to peek an Anna and be able to kill her, Sojourn would have to land some 6 shots, let's just say 6 shots, yeah?
Yeah.
To get the amount of charge where the railgun would finish off the rest of whatever HP was left at that point. We're assuming no
Yeah.
cooldowns here, right? We're assuming no nade and we're
Yeah.
assuming that this isn't like gonna go into passive cover and heal up. We're just assuming like raw numbers, right?
Yeah.
So in an actual scenario, it's more forgiving than that. But now we're looking at if you have 25 charge left over from shooting a teleporter or a May wall or whatever Lifeweaver tree, you need to land like 3 shots and then a headshot with rail, and now Anna is dead. So it's like the it's so much easier to get like time to kill in a lot of opening scenarios, or like a lot of like off angle like pressure scenarios. It's going to be so much more forgiving and so much faster to get to the point where you can actually just off someone.
Yeah.
Which is at the highest end will increase her uptime and her ability to like quickly put out pressure a lot, I think. I say a lot. It's one of those things where it's like if you have the skill, it's a lot. If you
Yeah.
do not have the skill, it's not a lot. So it's like in lower elo, it's just going to be slight increase in like sort of like not being completely like useless. In high elo, it's going to be.
Could be a game
I
changer.
think a lot of like the targets that Sojourn might have just gone for like before, like a lot of the targets like Baptiste or like Anna in certain positions, off angling on those, even taking duels against like Widows at like the medium short range, or Hanzo or Ashe, or Soldier for that matter. I think they're going to like find a Sojourn, peek a corner with 25 charge, start shooting a little bit, land that rail, and they're going to be like, where did my HP go? Like,
Yeah.
because she doesn't need to build charge on an off angle. She doesn't need to build charge off the person that she is killing as much anymore. Well, 25% less to be specific.
Yeah.
And I just think the time to kill is it's going to feel there's going to be some new punter montage clips of streamers getting rolled by Sojourn, and they're going to be, where did my HP go? Where
Yeah.
did it go? Where did it go? It was like she took a couple of shots and boom, I'm dead. I think a lot of people say this change doesn't matter. I think it matters a lot more than they realize.
If you're playing proper, then it's gonna matter a lot.
If you're playing at the highest level, it's going to feel
Yeah.
quite ridiculous. At the lower elos, where you are probably missing a lot more rail shots, and you're probably also just in general not farming as much, it's probably gonna feel like it's like a quality of life change down there. But the better you are with the character, like it's the thing is like it's like we've made a really high skill ceiling character just be even better.
At the
Which
higher level.
Yeah. And more forgiving at the low. It's like I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if next patch we're seeing like a Sojourn nerf that is perhaps like correcting a little bit. Like we're over adjusting next season.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you said it. Said plenty there, to be fair, and I feel like I've given my opinion on it. It's quite strong. It's quite strong. Is all is all you need to know. Sombra, we've already kind of had a bit of a discussion about this. I don't really feel like these feel like more like quality of life changes. Besides this one, besides the
Yeah, grace period where stealth can be cancelled immediately after entering
Yeah.
increased. So that's a nerf. Like that's right. That's a nerf if I'm reading it correctly. It's like entering it is increased. So like can be cancelled immediately.
I'm not sure. It's a really confusing one.
So no wait, that is above. You can
Yeah.
quicker.
Yeah, you can
Yeah, no,
you
because
can cancel it
you
quicker.
can the period where you can immediately cancel it and there's not like a delay on canceling is longer. That's a super. That is like a Fitzy level of like Sombra perfection kind of
Yeah.
change where it's like unless you're like playing at the peak of Sombra, most people will not get much out of this because like most people
Yeah.
are spending more time like just in this and having lesser uptime anyway. Cooldown now pauses 1 second while capturing or contesting objective from one. That's fine. It's like if you manage to capture an objective, you can get into
Invis.
in
Like
this,
half a
or if you
second
leave,
quicker.
or if you leave a payload, like you can.
Yeah.
It's so minuscule that I'm just like, okay, was this just for like bronze games where people would like just like sit on objective and like have a hard time getting a. I'm so confused. Like I don't understand really.
No.
It's
Cool.
cooldown on respawning.
I
The
agree.
thing is, like-
These changes are kind of nothing changes, to be honest. Like I don't think this is not affecting Sombra's place in ranked. Basically, this is not affecting Sombra's place in the meta. I think she is still
It's just like
where she was.
She just feels like more snappy. The one with the respawning is like 1.5 seconds after like what was this change for? Because I'm gonna be real with you. Most Sombras will spawn, like in spawn, and they're gonna translocate it immediately to get back anyway. Like you're just forcing your stealth by translocating out of spawn because you want to
Yeah.
get back into setting up quick, right? So what is like unless you're like the only way I can see that last one being like any amount of useful is if you're being spawn held. And even
Yeah.
then, it's like why? Because like you just wait 1.5 seconds and then exit whatever part of the spawn you want to exit. Like it's not. I am so confused about as to what exactly that's gonna help. Like maybe I need to go and watch like Fitzy's take on these changes, just to, like see what does he think about it. Like, is there an angle for any of this where it can be leveraged in a way where now you like a little bit more effective? There might be something.
Yeah.
I don't really know. But it seems odd at best. It seems like we've just changed some numbers around to make her feel maybe a little bit more snappy. Like a bit more, yeah, snappy character.
Yeah, like I said, I feel like this is almost all quality of life. And actually, I've misunderstood this one. So this one, the first one, does also, for me, come under quality of life change. It just makes the gameplay feel a little bit, like we keep saying, snappy, smooth. It feels crisp. Um, yeah, I don't have anything
Yeah,
to add to that. I don't know if you do anything that you wanna.
not really, because the only way I could like see that grace period thing be good is like if you force yourself with Translocator to dive the back line, so that then you can immediately get out of stealth again and get your assassination faster onto
Yeah,
like something. But the thing is, you're often not doing that because then you would be stranded in the back line against two supports that will actually just completely
yeah,
ruin your
destroy you.
day.
Yeah,
They'll just destroy you, and you don't have your Translocator. Like you get stealth, and then you get to the back line, and then you do your thing, and Translocator to a different angle or like a high ground or something, or like an exit where you can have a route of safety. Like, so I don't really know exactly what that's gonna do. I don't think much, to be fair. I'll have to watch the Fitzy video. There's going to be a Fitzy video. He will have some takes on it for sure.
yeah. Supports. Anna, Biotic Grenade, effect duration reduced from 3.5 to 3 seconds.
Yep.
It's a change.
Good change.
It's a good change. It's a good change. It doesn't look okay. Those 0.5 seconds are not meaning that Anna is not strong anymore, but we had power creep for so long where supports were getting small buffs that were leading to them becoming stronger and stronger. I think this is maybe they've decided we're not going to make a bunch of rash changes and like immediately,
Gradually nerf the
yeah,
support,
just gradually take it down.
which is the right way to do it. It's the same
Yeah,
thing with buffing or nerfing, is you wanna do it slowly, because Blizzard hasn't found out that different changes on the same character can have compounding effect. Don't
yeah,
realize how that works. So it's good. It's good that we're taking a little bit off of something, instead of saying like we reduce the cooldown like on this and that, and we reduce the ammo, and then all of a sudden it's like these effects stack up, and it's like a much bigger nerf than they realized it was. Take off a little bit. I will say we could have probably done with like a second taken off, but also
yeah.
I feel like, but then also a second is like a second less anti from
For
like,
a long cooldown as well, still.
but a second away from 3.5 seconds is like nearly like a 30%, like it's like a 20% decrease, right?
Yeah,
It's a 20%. Like now we're starting to talk stuff that might actually be game changing, right? Like we
yeah,
might actually start seeing like Anna Nade just like, you know, not doing nearly as much as it should. So I think I said like I personally think the ability is fundamentally needing like a redesign in terms of how we apply it, but it's a longer discussion. 0.5 seconds off is fine. It's okay.
yeah.
We can always go further if needed.
I don't hate that change. I think Splash needs to be changed next, and then we can start looking at cooldown timer as well, like we keep saying. But that is a discussion for another time, really, and a discussion that
Yep.
we've already had. So, um, Alari was probably like the other big change, I guess, in this patch. Um, there are definitely buffs. Do you think like this is again like putting her into meta area? I don't know if this puts her into meta. Um,
Mm.
but
Well, it's like the thing is like it's the same as like the Mauga change, and it's the same like with Captive Sun at least, right? It's the same as the Mauga change and the Moira change way back. This is like for the Overwatch 1 people, if people can even remember. But it used to be that Coalescence would not give you heal juice on Moira,
yeah, it would just
and
stay the
now
same.
yeah, it's just stay the same. So like you would have to come out of Coalescence with your juice still being fairly high. Now what you do on Moira, or can do, is what I'll say, because there's always someone who's gonna be like, actually in this scenario, but like what you can do is you can empty your healing juice on Moira, just heal everyone as much as possible, sustain like a hard push, then you can pop Coalescence to further sustain that engage with damage and healing, and then you come out with a full meter again, where you can start just sort of like juggling the resources properly again, right? So you have like a much better power spike with your ultimate. You can do the same with Mauga now. The Mauga changes. We didn't really mention that, but you don't get infinite ammo in cage fight anymore. You get an ammo reload. So what you want to do on Mauga now is you wanna shoot as much as you can, empty, ult, and then empty again, right? To get like a power spike. It's the same now with Illari, where it's like you can empty your heal meter, do captive sun, do some damage, and then you have another full heal meter. I don't think you're going to be doing that a whole lot, because if I'm being completely honest, Illari has never really played as a like flex support kind of like she's played in double flex support mostly, right? So if you'd probably already have a Baptiste or an Anna, or like something that can provide meaningful healing to your tank, and therefore the refill is like nice, but I don't see it be super useful because you're kind of playing Illari on an off angle anyway, with your own turret as your own self peel, and then providing pressure. So like your turret is like for you and your whatever DPS you have, providing more like pressure. If you're playing like Lucio Illari, for example, or like Mercy Illari, or even like Brick Illari, which are some interesting compositions. Like obviously, then this changes a lot better because you will have to do the majority of the healing onto your tank, which is a scenario where you don't want to use Illari. That I don't understand why you wouldn't just play Bap then. But that like ultimate change, I guess it's fine.
What is okay? Remove the damage fall off penalty on the Sunstruck explosion. Does that mean that the radius of the explosion is like the
full
damage?
no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no matter where you are, that's a pretty good change.
That is a strong buff. That's a strong buff.
That is a pretty. Actually, I say good change. I don't necessarily know good. I'm not saying that means it's bad. I'm just saying I don't know. But it is a buff for Illari, is what I mean to say.
I think it's okay because there's so many ways for like Illari's ultimate to just not get value. I think like even in Overwatch League when she was played the most, if you take a look at those clips, like every Illari player would just if they had the thing, they would just into the air dump it, like just dump it, because all it really does is it forces people to like respect you for a little bit. It creates like like a zoning opportunity, an opening for you to go in. If it does land on something, like usually they would use it like onto like another off angler to just like hard win that duel. Like I think a lot of like Illari ult onto visors was used. Like you would just like shoot it onto like a soldier visoring and blow him up. Sojourn, like railgun, that kind of stuff. But like most of the fights, both because the ultimate is being used, like it generated so quickly, but also because there's so many ways, so many opportunities to like either dodge it or counter it, they would just use it as a tempo all the time, just throw it in there. And I think this perhaps like just it's okay that the ultimate is a bit better.
Yeah.
If you do land it.
Yeah,
I think it's okay.
I think it's a good change, and it's not like I felt like I was being absolutely harassed by Illaris in my game. To be honest, I can't even remember the last time when I was playing a tank
on
game.
tank, that ultimate is cosmetic anyway. Like it like you have so many things on tanks to just make that ultimate not touch you. Like if you're getting diffed by Illari on tank, you're doing something wrong.
I don't think I even like at all this season. I don't think I saw an Illari in a tank game. Like literally, it was always Bap, Kiriko, Anna, like some Lucio, Brig, and Mercy.
Yeah, she fell like out of popularity like massively.
Yes. Anyway.
The gun changes. Primary fire charge gain is no longer paused by secondary fire. That's a good change, because before it would use that if you took a shot and then immediately healed someone with your healing beam, you wouldn't charge up your gun charge again, basically, like your primary fire.
So you had downtime.
Now you can weave. Like now weaving is going to be a lot more like kind of like with Kiriko, like weaving heals and damage, and Bap weaving heals and damage. That option is now available for Illari as well. It's amazing. It's going to help her playstyle as a single support a lot. It's going to help her playstyle of like putting out heals a lot more. Like you're going to find that she can put pressure out and healing out, and that is actually like a significant change, to be honest. Ammo increase, I don't know. It's fine. That's all I have to say
Yeah.
about that. Sure.
To be fair, now that you bring it up, do you think this means that like she might be more viable in like a main support, flex support situation where she is the flex support? Like this just means that now she is capable of well, much more capable of being able to do the healing and stuff.
I still think that the nature of her like low fire rate, hard hitting, you kind of need to land headshots with it kind of ability means that she finds more value on an off angle than she does on a main angle, because it's not spam damage like as such. It's like hard hitting damage, whereas like
Yeah.
Baptiste, for example, can do a great amount of puck shot quick damage burst by playing with a tank, but also like you can also play him separately, like at certain times. Whereas Ilari, I'm struggling to see the angle of like holding main with Ilari, because the thing is like the turret and your own healing is like a lot of healing, but then you're providing a lot of healing, but you're not providing any kind of pressure, so you're not threatening kills, you're not forcing cooldowns, and then she loses her niche, which is that she's a really strong off angle enabler slash duelist, right?
Yeah.
And if that niche is gone, then she's just another heal bot, really. And I think Baptiste just does that better. So like I don't know
Yeah.
that's really there's some potential, I guess. There's some potential. It's more viable than before. I still don't think it's good. I don't see why you wouldn't just play Bap then.
Okay, that's fair. And then lastly, we got some Lifeweaver changes. Kind
Able
of.
to duel like squishes at a
Yeah.
range a little bit better. Like you're able to
Better
like
poke?
track squishies. Nah, it's not better poke. Like poke is always like the same really. It's just better ability to threaten kills at the medium to long range. That's about it.
And the paddle
It's
platform
not.
doesn't really change anything.
It's a quality of life thing.
Yeah.
It's just so that fire strikes and railgun and whatnot doesn't just go through ram punch whatnot.
Fire Strike went through it.
Yeah, fire strike is a piercing projectile.
Oh my god, I did not know that. I didn't even know
You know,
Rampage went through it.
you know that fire strike is a piercing projectile. How
No,
the
I know
heck would
that. I
you
didn't know that it went through paddle platform. I didn't
read the
think so.
change?
I didn't think. I didn't think Sojin Railgun went through paddle platform either. Did it go
Well, I
through?
mean, railgun doesn't, but overclock does. That's what overclock gives as well. It's like overclock makes railgun pierce, right? So
Oh my god! This whole time I thought Railgun pierced anyway.
no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
It's been out since since the release.
This guy has. I'm doing my takes with this guy, guys.
Go
It's this guy.
away, man.
This
Go
guy
away.
has strong opinions about stuff. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. You don't need to know everything to have an opinion. That is a false premise.
Cheers. I didn't actually look at the bug fixes. I'm guessing there's nothing major in there.
There's a few things, but I don't think we need to like necessarily go over it. There's a
No.
few things, but it's fine.
So on to the next topic, which is the shop. The shop for this week. I actually, because I'm a bit of an idiot, forgot to get the images up early. So I don't have the images in front of me. But do you have the images in front of you? You've got Overwatch.
I do indeed.
Yeah, Gary, you start talking about it while I get these images.
Yeah. So, it's nothing like insane or anything like that. It's two skins from two of Blizzard's other games. It's Heaven's Devil Reinhardt skin, which is I believe it's supposed to be a Tychus skin from StarCraft. So it's a themed skin. I think it looks pretty good.
I thought it was Warhammer. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. I don't think it's Warhammer necessarily. No.
Nah, I don't know. Well, I know that now, but I was looking at him. I was like, this looks like fantasy stuff, and he kind of was like something out of Warhammer, maybe.
I think it's a good skin. I like the theme. Warhammer. You've infected me with the Warhammer stuff now. I like the theme. I like StarCraft stuff. Unfortunately, Tychus doesn't look very like Tychus. The look of Tychus isn't necessarily very detailed, so it's like it just looks like Tychus, right?
Yeah. You did send me that
Does
image.
deserving of legendary status probably. What do I give it myself? Probably like a 7.6-ish out of 10. Oh,
Really?
that's not good. Yeah, 7.6 out of 10.
I think I'd give it higher than a 7 or a 6, to be fair. I think that's a really cool skin, and I
I
really
mean, do you
like.
you do that with every single new skin? Like, no matter what new skin comes out, you just like immediately
Come on,
8,
that's
9,
not
10.
true.
It's
That's
always
not true.
it's
We've
so
never
true,
even
so
number
true.
ranked a skin together, so that's a lie. Never done that before.
Guys, you can take my word right here. He did it last week. He's done it this week. He will do it next week again. He just new skin, amazing, no matter what.
Sorry for being optimistic and happy about the content
It's
that we're
okay.
receiving.
It's okay. It's okay.
I don't want your
We haven't gotten
affirmation.
to
Go
this.
away, man.
We haven't gotten to the second skin. We'll talk about it when we get there, right? But yeah.
I really like the skin. Well, seeing as
Heaven's Devil.
you got to give it a number. Let me give it a number.
I'm saying 7 out of 10. You can go now.
Um, you know what? He's got a minigun. I kind of wish they'd done something with that theme. I only know that because you sent me an image of it, but his the
The actual
actual
tag is
character,
like a
yeah,
minigun.
has a minigun. So that'd have been quite cool. They should have given Mauga that skin. Maybe that would have made more sense. Anyway,
That would have been a smart move, but I think isn't this like a re thing? It like this has already been there kind of deal. I think it has already been there, but yeah.
I don't know. Really cool skin though. You know what? I thought you gave it a lower number, so I was going to say 7 out of 10 to spite you, but I'm going to go 7 out of 10 as well because I can't actually justify.
Okay.
I can't justify giving it any higher. It is a cool skin though, and I like it. I just would not. As with all things, I don't pay
It's not
money for
that.
skins.
It's not that good. It's not that good.
It's
You
a
know
cool
what I mean?
skin. It is a cool skin.
Yeah, it's just not that good. It's not like it could be better, right? Like it couldn't be better. It's just because Tigers inherently is a character that is designed to be a little bit flat and boring, in terms of
Yeah.
like just being a StarCraft hero thing, right? Like it's. I'm not saying Blizzard has done a bad job here. I'm just saying, a little bit of my own.
Yeah.
My own take here. I don't really care. I don't really care. Um,
The next skin is probably the more interesting of the two skins, to be fair.
yeah,
Sindora.
yeah, exactly.
There's a little bit more going on, I guess. Well, you kind of know. You said it's World of Warcraft, didn't you? You know more about World of Warcraft, and you actually said even that there's like different races of elves, and this is one of two of the races. And it's like a bit of a
So
reskin.
it's a reskin, and it's one of the few times where you will hear me say a reskin makes sense, and it actually will not take points down. And the reason why is because I said the first skin that we have for Symmetra, that's the elfin skins from World of Warcraft, is supposed to be Tyrant from World of Warcraft, who is a night elf, right? And night elves has like a more bluish color to them, and green across the board and silver. Whereas blood elves have a more sort of like pigmented skin color, green eyes, green features, and red, of course, right? I believe Sindore is the blood elves, but it's like a type of blood elves who is like the god is like a specific type of god, like Thalassian, I think.
This
So
man knows all the Warcraft lore.
it's not only just blood elf, but it's like a specific type of blood elf who's like under Kel'Thas, I think.
Would you guys like to know a fun fact about Mick and me? He is a former semi-professional World of Warcraft player. This man knows his. I'm not gonna swear. This guy knows his stuff. This guy knows what he's talking about.
This guy had to bring it up. This guy had to bring it up. Yes, it's true. So
Yeah,
essentially,
there's no shame in it.
no, I mean, there is no shame in it. It's my past though. But yeah, I mean, there might be a shame in the amount of hours I have in the game, but we don't talk about that. Nah,
Hey man, you're
we
trying to
don't
go
talk
pro.
about
I can't hate. Anyway, sorry, I did ask you to drop the lore. I did not realise there was going to be that much lore to it.
It's gonna be there's a lot more to it, but it's essentially it's a different type of elf. One of the elves, sort of like in the game, belongs to the Alliance, which is one of the factions, and this one, the Blood Elves, they belong to the Horde, which is a different alliance, and they don't like each other.
In short, the reskin makes sense and Mick appreciates it.
The reskin actually makes sense because they've managed to do a reskin where it makes sense because it's a different character within the universe, or different race within the universe. So therefore, I will forgive that it is a reskin, and I will just base it off of its looks. It has a theme, which already in my book is a good theme because I like that theme. That's perhaps the theme that I'm a little biased about. A little biased. The detailing is immediately a lot better on the skin.
Yeah.
I like the lines. I like the gems. I like the curves. I think they're great. The hair is obviously way different.
The hair's pretty good.
Got a little bit of a headband kind of thing that looks pretty cool as well with a moon sign on it.
Yeah, there's a lot more detail. There's like
referencing
the
blood moon, of course, which they all worship.
Now he's just showing off.
Yeah. No. I think it's a 9 out of 10. I want to say 9 out of 10. I think if I'm not gonna buy it, but like if I had this, I would probably be rocking the skin over my magician Symmetra.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of detailing. It's probably like a 7.5 or an 8. I don't know if I'd go as far to say 9. I don't know. It's just, again, like you said, you may be a little bit biased. I'm not so biased because I've never played World of Warcraft. So it's not.
It's definitely
oh my
biased.
God,
Yeah, that's
wow.
definitely biased. Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
cool skin, cool shop. Let's get some Warhammer skins next because I think Warhammer skins would be pretty cool.
I think there is like an actual 0% chance that Blizzard gets a partnership with Warhammer. I actually do not think that is a possibility.
We got like we got Les Seraphim and we got One Punch Man, but like I was so disappointed that we got One Punch Man and then we moved on to like K-pop because I was hoping we'd get more anime stuff. I was really hoping we'd get some more anime stuff, like a My Hero Academia collaboration or something. So that would have been really cool.
My Hero Academia is like massive though.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say it's bad.
No, I've watched like 4 seasons of it at least.
One Punch Man is quite big.
One Punch Man is, but that's older. Like My Hero Academia is like now, like this.
Yeah, I guess
it's been like a year since the most recent season came out, and it's still hot and fresh, right? And it's climbing in popularity as well. Whereas One Punch Man is, pardon my French, but it's a bit stale.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, probably not getting.
Anyway,
probably not getting anything Warhammer.
One can hope. One can hope.
Next topic. This is like quite a big one and something that I personally have discussed with you about. What is the future of Overwatch esports like? Because obviously, I'm gonna be real with you guys here. It's not looking great for Overwatch League. It is not looking great. Which kind of begs the question, like, where do we go now? Because Blizzard have kind of already said that I'm pretty sure they have said at some point that they still want to have a hand in Overwatch esports and they still want to make something happen. It's just Overwatch League was not it. For a number of reasons, which we don't really need to go into now. Or maybe we can bring that up as to what we think could happen. I feel like me and you have had this conversation. We've kind of already. I feel as if we both kind of came to the same conclusion, which the Apex format was probably much better than the Overwatch League format, because franchising kind of killed like that level of specialness that you get with esports, where it's like anybody can compete. You know, with like traditional sports, it isn't anybody can compete. It's like the clubs are the teams are set in locations and stuff. But you get a certain level of identity with Apex, where like literally every single team in the world can compete in a Swiss stage first, and then you get only the best of the best, which leads to you get like more one-trick teams. So as opposed to having just London Spitfire who were one-tricking a comp, like the Rhine comp would probably, if we did move forward, probably get like Jotes one-trickers and Ball one-trickers, and there'd probably be a team running like Diva comps and stuff. You know, there'd be a lot of individuality to an Apex format where everybody can join.
Not the highest part of the Apex, but definitely like you don't have to go too much further down before you start seeing some interesting things, kind of like we have seen in Contenders and Open Division. It's just gonna be more accessible, which is the main thing, right?
Yeah, and
But yeah, I know what we need to do.
What?
We need to get Jane. Jane will invent esports for us.
He will invent esports.
Jane is going to invent
esports. That
Jane.
that clip is amazing.
Amazing clip.
Anybody else that watched that, you're missing out. Just go on YouTube and just search up Jane is going to invent esports.
Yeah, it's by Bren. So
yeah, go watch Nostalgia Watch. Go watch all 3 episodes of Nostalgia Watch. It's in one of them, and you're gonna laugh loads at the rest of it. But
I think it's in the third one. But yeah,
yeah, that
amazing clip. No hate to Jane, just to be clear. Awesome guy. But yeah, just it's a funny. The context is funny. The clip is funny, right?
Yeah, and we spoke about this towards the end of Overwatch League. We kind of had and I don't want to be disrespectful to any teams or anything now, but we had some bottom feeder teams for like the last 2 to 3 seasons, where it was like those teams were just not having a fun time, and you know
no one had a fun time watching them play either.
Well, if you're a fan of the team who was playing them, then you probably did have a fun time.
No, because there's nothing fun in watching you don't need to watch your team go against like the worst team in the league, because you already know.
Yeah.
And it's like, of course there's going to be a worse team in the league, but when the discrepancy is that big, it's like something is wrong. So like when the difference is that large, it is, and also not to mention certain allegations of them losing to tier 3 teams in Open Division. Like come on now. Come on. Something is wrong here. You are not deserving of sitting at this title, and there's so much talent out there that should have been there instead of you.
That came down to a factor of the organization. It wasn't down to the players. Obviously, the players were offered a full-time paying job to do the thing that they love doing. You know,
Of course, it's not the players' fault.
Yeah,
of course not.
You're gonna say
the
yes,
players...
even if
you're gonna say yes. Yeah.
West, like
100%. It's a lifetime opportunity. Of course, you're taking it.
And the organizations were picking these players because they knew that they weren't going to demand high wages, because they knew they were not in a position to demand high wages. So they could just pay league minimum. They could do the bare minimum that an organization has to provide to the players in order to be there. And they were only still there because they had what was it, 20 million? Was it 20 million buy-in fee?
I mean, that's the original buy-in fee, right? Like that's just like a team in the thing was like a 20 million euro buy-in fee, like initial investment kind of deal.
So obviously you weren't just going to pull out if you've already invested. As a company, you're not going to say we've put $20 million into this, so we're going to pull out now because we can't be bothered to keep funding it.
Euros, but yeah.
Euros then. You know, you're not gonna pull out.
He says nonchalantly, like there's not like a 1.4 difference in those two. Like
what?
It's not that much actually, but yeah, there's a substantial difference between the value of a dollar and a euro. And if we're talking
I don't care.
millions,
They're all fake money compared to the Great British Pound. It's all fake.
yeah, you're right. It did take a pounding, but yeah. Anyway, I'm
Do you
sorry.
want to talk politics? Well, actually, you're not even on Euro. I don't know why I'm starting with you.
I'm not on euro.
um,
Also, the
yeah.
euro has been completely stable for like literally centuries. It hasn't moved a bit, my friend. So even if you were gonna go down that path,
Yeah, it's remained
you
below the
you are
pound for
you are
quite a while.
yeah, no, but like it's at least it's stable, you know, like we're not
Yeah.
tanking value. Anyway.
Don't get me started. This is about Overwatch politics, not fucking real life politics. Sorry for swearing.
Okay, back on track, back into Overwatch world, so the British guy can feel relevant.
I feel like I've spoken enough about it, so go on, give us your opinion.
Yeah, no, I think I think an open format. The thing is, like, we could do franchising. Like, it's okay to do franchising, as long as we remain it like having it open. Because I think the biggest issue with the league has been that the sort of like refinement of the players at the highest end has been too low. There has up and comers have been proving themselves to be good enough, but not given the chance because they were never bought into the franchise. And that is an issue. I think the gatekeeping at the highest end has been an issue. I think it should be as simple as anyone can play, and it's just a matter of them actually climbing the tournaments themselves and creating themselves a lot more than where this is. It with the franchise, it became a question of economy, a question of connections, a question of like you know, reputations and whatnot. And then all of a sudden we keep getting the same players in who are arguably worse than some of the talent right below, right? And I think that's an issue. I think that creates for a worse viewing experience. I think the refinement process and the replacement process should be a lot harsher. Um, and then I think also the thing is, like, by having like a really big open thing, I think also like a lot more teams, and there's going to be a scene for like not just the highest end, right? Like you could create a scene um for like what is open division now, like the top 16 open division teams, right? Like an
Yeah.
actual viewer scene for that could be created as well. And even perhaps even further down, right? Like like who is to say where that sort of stops, right? That's what
Yeah.
I think an open format could do as well.
See, I remember when I first started watching Overwatch League, I was like, why do the bottom 3 teams in the league get to stay in the league? That was always my pondering, because like, as somebody who watches football, um, soccer, whatever you might call it, okay, the way that it works is the Premier League, 20 teams. The obviously number one is champion. The bottom 3 teams get relegated. They get kicked out of the league for that season, for the following season, and the top 3 teams from the standard below get promoted. I never understood
Good idea.
why that
So
was
very
not a
good idea.
thing. I understand the
I didn't know
difference
that.
now, but I think a system like that could also work, where like if they want to do a league, cool, let's do a league. Let's have a promotion and relegation system in place though. So if we're going to have like 3 tiers of standard, so open division being open, contenders being a little bit more gated, and then Overwatch League being, the
Very
same,
gated. Very gated.
very gated. But if there's a relegation system, so like, you and your friends could go start an open division team, get top 3 places in open division, get promoted to contenders, then you can get top 3 in contenders and get promoted to Overwatch League. Like, I get that this, it doesn't quite translate in the same way because football is so like advertised and everything.
I think the
So like,
thing is though, like it's still like a very slow system in terms of like getting through the open into the contender. Like it's still a slow burn, realistically speaking as well, because like chances are you're not going from Open Division with the same team all the way into Overwatch League. Like, there's not that level of improvement of a team. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
there might be that kind of improvement of a player. So what I think is, like, every single time the season starts, everyone is at the same level. The only thing defining if you go to what would be quote unquote the Overwatch League is if you've beaten everything else, right? Like, you've made a team together. I think it would also be better because, like, breaking up teams and creating new teams based on like players wanting to be together with like certain other players, creating that kind of dynamic is going to be very good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Also, it's the ultimate refining process. Regardless of where you come from or where you are, the best people at the end will be the best people at the end, right?
Yeah.
I do like the relish system,
Relegation.
relegation, right? There we
Yeah.
go. Relegation. I didn't even know that was a thing. I don't watch football. I don't care about football at all.
Oldest sport in the world? What? No, I don't think it's the oldest sport in the world. It's one of the oldest sports in the world, though. They've had a long time
Probably.
to refine a good system, and
Chess is one of the oldest games in the world. Why don't you play that constantly or watch it on YouTube?
it's boring.
Anyway, yeah, exactly. Right. So,
What is your
proven.
point?
Exactly, it's boring.
No, what is your?
It's boring. Yeah, that's my point.
I wasn't
Football's
judging you. I
boring.
was just saying. I was just saying that it's been around for so long. They've refined their system.
Yeah, true. Anyway,
Why am I
point is, I don't
catching
watch. I don't-
strays? What was that for?
because I thought you were like saying like football is the oldest thing. You should enjoy football.
No, I was saying it's like been around for so long. They've had time to find a really good system that makes sense and works and promotes high standards. Was my
I
point.
cannot speak on the matter because I don't know football because I don't care. Anyway, that sounds like a decent system, right?
Yeah.
It sounds like a decent system. I don't know exactly how you would fine tune it because I still think, but like honestly, relinquishment,
Relegation.
relegation. Right there we go. Relegation. I don't even know that word. Relegation system sounds like pretty good because I don't think certain teams at the bottom of Overwatch League this time around would have even stayed in the Overwatch League. I think we would have had contenders stuff take over, which is
Yeah.
amazing because that is exactly what contenders is for.
Yeah.
But so like, why couldn't we do that? And the answer is money and economy and gatekeeping and
Well,
it's because it's a branded league and not like
yeah.
it's a branded league. It's about the brand. It's not about the actual skill, which is not creating a good viewing experience. It's like it's creating a terrible viewing experience, honestly. So yeah.
That's kind of why people like Carpe stuck around, and I love Carpe a lot. Towards the end though, it was just like he was just sitting on the bench for like whole stages, just like because the other two DPS players, I can't remember what their names were. They were just better, and they'd play him against like the worst of the worst, like LA Valiant and stuff. But he was such an integral part to the Fusion brand that they had him there because everybody loved Carpe. Like everybody knows Carpe, and I feel like there was a certain amount of like, if we have big name players, then there's a brand to it. You're not going to be keeping big name players round if there's the threat that you get relegated if you're not good enough and you don't perform enough, because then you do get moved out of the spotlight, sort of thing.
Yeah, and I think it's great, and I think if we are to have a relegation system, it would have to be an aggressive one. Don't make it like once per season. Make it like actually throughout the season, throughout the stages. Make it be a thing. I don't know how exactly. I still think a completely open thing. Like we actually just take, legitimately, 1,000 teams could sign up. 1,000 teams, including teams that are like pro players already from the past seasons, and obviously the pro players would form new teams, just like we kind of saw like the most recent Open Division on like on Flash Ups, where it's like all of the best teams were just pro players who went and said we're gonna like be ex Oblivion, like we're gonna be like we're going into these teams, right? Like that made so much sense. Like that made so much sense. It was actually like really refreshing. Unfortunately, the coverage of the whole thing was garbage, but that makes so much sense, and that would be the future of it all, right? That would be the future, where the best players from the past sort of like was like, you know what? I don't want to be tied to this team anymore. I want to delve into this team because I think I'm an up and comer, and I think that team has a lot of really, really good up and comer crackheads. And then they form these things and they demolish it next time.
Yeah.
Also, it would open up like a natural, gradual system where there's also like masters teams, which obviously they're gonna be placed like, what I know, like 800 in the
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things. But it creates an opportunity for everyone to be where they should be. It creates a much better competitive system for the tournament style of pro play. I think. Is it as marketable? I think it's even more marketable if Blizzard has never really cared about marketing tier 2 and tier 3 anyway, to be fair. Like they can't even be bothered to like promote their own contenders and open division stuff. Like they do not care. Like sometimes you'd have to catch it on Twitch, sometimes you have to catch it on YouTube. It's never like on the actual launcher. I remember back in the day, whenever like tier 2 or tier 3 was on, or like tier 1, it would be on the launcher. Like as you're about to launch your game, the stream would be there, like integrated from Twitch.
Yeah.
So you could go and like you knew it was on. Because they actually promoted shit back then. But now they don't promote it. It's like I think if they were to promote this stuff a lot more, the viewership would just be so much better. But they don't care about their own path to pro system. So I think we have to reinvent the path to pro system. I think it has to be an open system.
Yeah. There's a lot. There's so much stuff. There is so much stuff in the world. You know, you can go. We're going to go a pure esports route, and we'll go like full open system, and we'll take from Valorant and we'll take from League of Legends, and we'll do a completely open system with a Swiss stage at the start. That, like you said, there could be 1,000 teams that want to be involved, and you know we'll go through 1,000 teams having a Swiss stage of some description.
Yeah, and that's okay, because it gives the people that aren't quite pro and not even the top of the game yet, it gives them a chance to compare themselves from season to season, right?
Yeah.
It gets a natural sense of progression, which is healthy for
Or
competition at the highest end.
they could take from real life sports, you know, football, and I don't watch other sports, but football, and they could use that. They could use that in a way and integrate that cleverly somehow. I don't know if it would quite work in terms of like profitability, because obviously football it's too big to fail. So that's how teams make money when they get promoted and stuff. So I don't know if that would quite work, but it is something. There's so much. They don't have to reinvent the wheel. They don't have to make anything new. They can literally just extract what does work, what doesn't work, and maybe they find a middle ground of like, this is what IRL sports is like, this is what esports is like. We can put them together. We can take one or the other. I think there's so much opportunity here. And the last thing I would actually like to talk about, which has just come back to my mind, Overwatch World Cup. Is it here to stay in the future of Overwatch esports? Do we think that is something cool that I know what your feelings are on it. Spoiler alert.
My opinion is going to differ a lot from you.
Yeah.
It just makes no sense. It's just I would say the reason I don't like it is it ties into the fact that I am as little nationalist as you. Like I am completely anti-nationalist, in the sense that I don't care for nationalism in any way, shape, or form. I think the whole concept is stupid. That ties into personal philosophy and politics a lot more than it ties into Overwatch. But again, I also think the whole thing with like inviting that many teams makes no sense when realistically the best teams in the world are going to come from specific regions, right? Like there were some teams like team Mexico and team like Colombia. It's like why I don't even know who these players are, and they got toyed around with. Like I don't even think they enjoyed it themselves. I think a lot of them sat there. I was like, you know what, this has just been like, I've just been bullied. Like I have been bullied. I had to show up for this. I got nothing out of it either. I didn't change myself as a player other than, haha, I can go and tell my friends that I played the World Cup team.
Yeah.
It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. It was so stupid. We could narrow down the actual amount of teams
think-
by a massive amount. And I think I don't care for it because you are limiting the greatness of the whole thing to what power you have within your country instead of transcending the like lines of countries and saying these are the best players, these are the best of the best, right?
Yeah.
Which is better in my opinion. Like you are just limited. Like even like a team like USA is limited to what they have in the US.
You know what though? We're saying this. You said Korea would win, no doubt.
I did.
You said Korea would win, no doubt. And then magic happened, and a different team won it. And it's the same thing with the previous World Cup where America won it. And it's like that's the beauty of national stuff. Is like there's like, I know you don't believe in it, but there's a sense of national pride of like, I'm playing for my country and I'm going to do everything that I can and I'm going to be the best player that I possibly can because I want to win this.
To be fair, like KSA just did kind of also have like some really crack players, some up and comers, right? Which we don't get to see because they don't get to play in the league.
It's another opportunity. It's another opportunity. I think World Cup personally, I'm pro World Cup.
But it's still like here's the thing, right? Is KSA is not the best possible team in the world because we're limiting ourselves to what is in the KSA. Like there's probably a roster between some people from KSA, some people from what do I know, Korea, some people from EU, some people from NA. Like we are still limiting ourselves in terms of what could be the best theoretical team, right?
Yeah.
Which we will never ever get to in that format. Which therefore I don't care. I don't care.
Okay, so Mick doesn't care. So the opinion of the podcast is World Cup is here to stay. Because he has said no opinion. Mick has said no opinion. No, which means
when
World Cup is here to stay. It is definitive. Mick just said it live. Cool.
That is not what I don't care means.
I love the World Cup.
I don't care. I mean, I don't care for it, and because I don't care for it in a subject that I'm so invested in.
No, it means that 32 teams was too many. I will say
Motor
that.
has just put a bunch of words in my mouth because he cares so much about it. No, like, huh? What? Hello? Integrity? Where's the integrity? The integrity is gone.
It's gone.
He is British, of course, so you do kind of have to throw that away. The integrity part, of course.
I thought 32 teams wasn't it that actually went was too many. I felt like we probably could have taken it down to 16. And I think the roster lock happened before the end of the Overwatch League season, which was really strange. Because, let's be realistic, South Korea did not pick their strongest team. Because the strongest team would have just been the Florida Mayhem starting roster. Maybe you change one or two players around.
It's interesting for sure. I still will say that, like, me saying that I don't care for it, that does not mean that I actually don't care. No, because everybody knows you're putting words in my mouth. You're putting words in my mouth here. You are putting words in my mouth, and we are in a country where you're allowed to speak your mind. And I will just say that me not caring is a bad thing because I do care a lot about the esports, right? I do care about the high end. So the fact that they've managed to create something that I don't care about is horrendous. I should care a lot, but I don't. Anyway, it's a funny little silly thing that we can have once a year that doesn't really matter because even the best World Cup teams are not even close to the best Overwatch League teams, so it doesn't matter, right?
I think it's another place for players on an individual level. How many teams? Okay, well, Overwatch League is done now, so none. But how many Overwatch League teams would have been looking at KSA and been like, maybe KSA still got it to be in this league, or like how many teams would be looking at, was it Labda? Was that his name? That the Flexibot? Looking at Labda and being like, yeah, maybe Labda is owl ready, like he's really put on a good performance, or you know,
we had some owl players, right? So it's, yeah, I mean,
none of them were in owl at the time. All of those were contenders players. KSA had.
Yeah, I was going to say KSA, right?
None of those were Overwatch
KSA,
League.
no.
Bin, yeah, I think.
Bin, okay, Bin, yeah, fair, Bin, okay, Bin.
I think it's a
bit.
really good opportunity because now teams are going to look at this and they're going to be like, yes, they didn't beat the strongest Korean team that could have been,
Mm.
but they
Okay.
just went and beat a Korean team. Like beating the
I
Korean
think I think
side.
I think we are investing our resources in the wrong places.
I think it's
I
cool.
think the World
I
I think
like
the
it.
World Cup is a great marketing charade for people like you who think that nationality means anything.
People like me, racist.
What?
That's what I said.
What? What? Huh? Huh?
You heard me.
Motor has just agreed on a podcast that he's racist. Okay.
What?
Okay.
I said
Interesting.
you were racist.
How am I racist? I don't care about what nationality you're from. You're the one who cares about the nationality. I don't care. I don't care where you're from.
I regret doing this. I regret doing
I
this.
was gonna say, like, you have shot yourself so hard in the foot here. You have shot yourself so incredibly hard. Without even realizing.
Go away, man. Anyway,
None of us are racists. None of us care about race.
no. Yeah, I think that's enough said about Overwatch esports. I feel like we both kind of there won't be a conclusion here because
We disagree.
yeah, we disagree. Tell us what you guys think. Do you think
Sure.
the Overwatch World Cup is a good idea? I think it is. Or do you think that it doesn't show the best level of esports and so we should just not bother? Like a doomer, like a boring person.
Like someone who cares about the esports scene and wants it to grow and not be irrelevant. All right.
We didn't
All right.
actually decide before the podcast, because what we've done the last 2 weeks is we decide together who's the hardest coper of the week. But I'm taking it into my own hands. Motor's hardest coper of the week for week 3 of the podcast. Okay, are you ready, McMB?
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, we did discuss it a little bit, and like I did say that, like, this is not necessarily like a ranked player, so therefore
Yeah.
I don't think it's that hard of a cope. But it is obviously, if we're assuming that this is a ranked player, someone who plays ranked and wants to improve themselves and climb, this is a very hard cope, obviously. But if we remove that context, I think we're not looking at that much of a coper.
Yeah. Comes from.
Do you want to read it or should I?
Yeah, I'll read it and then I want to give my opinion on it because I saw this
Yeah.
one, I immediately got excited. So this comes from Overwatch Anonymous again. Thank you, blessing us. So wait a minute, y'all are trying new characters in quick play and not in training. And it's got a gobsmacked emoji. I thought training mode was meant for practicing, not quick play. No wonder some people are abysmal at the game. Now, like you said, this is probably more likely a quick play player. This is somebody though who has been mentally defeated by quick play, by the sounds of it, and is so upset that people are practicing new heroes in quick play. They are suggesting that, and this kind of ties into what the hero mastery courses that we discussed last week. They're suggesting that you can get better by playing heroes and practicing heroes in the training range, which is fundamentally wrong. It's beyond wrong.
I mean, yeah, it is. I mean, to be fair, practice range or the training mode, as it actually is referring to.
Yeah.
Because it's not actually talking about practice range; it's talking about the training mode.
What, the training
Will
course, the hero mastery courses?
No, that's a training mode.
Oh, versus bot.
Yeah, I don't know really. It's the thing is, like, I don't use it. I think neither of us has ever actually spent time in it, so we don't know.
I have when I kept my little brother wanted to try.
Oh, okay, fair enough. But it's essentially just none of that really matters because here's the thing: none of these modes will do anything but teach you what, at a surface level, the ability does. Like physically, what does the ability do? It will not teach you how to use the ability. It will not teach you tips or tricks about how to get more value out of the ability. It will just teach you at a face level what does this ability do. So like Reinhardt barrier doesn't do damage. Okay, good to know. Like so here's the thing, right? I'll take it a step further and be like, you're practicing heroes in quick play. It's
Quick
like
play. No.
people
No.
who think that you're practicing heroes in quick play are wrong. Quick play is what should introduce you to the character. Sure, it's okay to be introduced to a character in quick play, as in I take a quick game of this character in quick play, I get an idea of what these abilities do, but anything past that, you should go into competitive, because the thing about quick play is that quick play will not teach you how to be good, because quick play can put you against people like 2 or 3 tiers above you or 2 or 3 tiers below you, which means that you will never ever get a good amount of resistance based on your own performance, right? That's the thing. Quick play will not ever teach you if you're getting punished for doing something or not. If I go into quick play with my friend who is silver, we will go into like silver/gold lobbies, and I can do whatever the hell I want on my character. Like I can play Genji, and I can legitimately just like walk up to the backline and right click them in the head on repeat, and I will never ever be punished for anything that I do. Have I become better at Genji after 100 games of that? No, no, I have not. Because I take one game into my actual elo in Plat Diamond, and I get demolished for doing that. I get like actually toyed around with. I get my head bitten off. I get my like bones and flesh like torn apart by an angry beast. I'm splatter on the wall. I am actually
Why are
being
there polar bears in
completely.
your
I don't know, like a bear. Who's a polar bear? Could be a black bear. I don't know.
Black bears would do
Um,
that to you. They're not big enough. Now we're getting into
I-
the bear politics.
The bear politics. I tell you, any bear will mess you up. Honestly, any bear will mess you up if it gets the chance. Um, but at any rate, that's not besides the point. The point is that you in quick play, besides like what you think training is what quick play is. Pick the character, get the idea of what the abilities do. Past that point, quick play will not actually get you much better at the game, because you will not be punished for anything you do that might be dumb. And you will not learn how to get value out of your character, because you don't have to learn that.
And
Now, there is like something to be talked about, like you can probably learn quite a bit by like playing a lot of sweaty like sweaty quick play.
yeah.
But for the love of God, nothing can replace, if you actually want to be good at this game. I'm sorry to put it out, you are a hard coper. If you think there's a way to get good at this game that isn't play ranked, get over your ranked like anxiety, get into ranked, get pummeled. I can tell you, you're not getting pummeled in ranked because the game is unfair. You're getting pummeled in ranked because you're shit.
Yeah.
That is the reality of it. You are getting pummeled in ranked because you're shit, and you're not practicing in quick play to become better. No, 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 no. You go into ranked, you start questioning yourself, or better players, or coaches, wherever you may get the resources from. For example, YouTube, Spylo, Coach
Yeah.
Mills, whatever it is, right?
Karki gives a
Kaju,
lot of good tips, to be fair.
Kakyu, yeah, Kaju, Kakyu.
Yeah.
A lot of people, yeah.
I mean, we don't talk like macro fundamentals or anything, but there is something to be learned from these podcasts, I'd hope.
You go to my Twitter right under my name. You take a
Yeah.
look at the price. You add my Discord. You saw it on a session, right?
Yeah.
That's what you do. That's what you do. You go buy a one-on-one session. I'll tell you exactly why you're shit at the game. Of course, I'm not going to be rude to you or anything, but I will tell you why you're shit. And then you go and practice that, and you do that in ranked. You become a better player. Quick play, your max potential in quick play is so low. It's so much lower than what you think it is.
I mean, hold on. If we're going to promote ourselves here, or you can go to my Twitch and go farm 50,000 channel points, and I'll give you a VOD review. You don't have to pay money for that one. That one's just time.
And then if you don't want to spend time, you can also just ask him. He usually answers. So
Yeah.
um,
I will happily VOD review people on the stream. But yeah. I'm going to take this a step further to the less casual players who treat rank like Mick said. You know, you learn the abilities in quick play. I know a lot of people will say go practice in quick play, because ranked is where you show the skill that you've learned in quick play. And I personally have been flamed countless times. Your logo is bugging out right now, Mick. I've been flamed countless times in ranked games, because people get mad at me for saying that I'm practicing a new hero, or I'm practicing a hero that I don't know very well in ranked, saying that you shouldn't practice heroes in ranked. And that's what quick play is for. And I will always disagree with these people. I will always, always, always say ranked is the place that you learn, as Mick has just also pointed out. Ranked is the place that you learn. You know, you go in and getting hard stomped is okay. Even if people flame you, even if people say you're the reason, even if people are giving you the most amount of abuse possible, whether or not it's relating to your gameplay, maybe they're saying personal attacks at you because of how you're playing, I will always recommend you ignore these people. Maybe consider the things that they're saying. Maybe what they're saying is true, but I would never ever let somebody tell me that ranked is not the place for you to learn a hero, because I have lost a lot of games and I have dropped many ranks learning how to play Junker Queen or Orisa or Sigma or Mauga or Ram. You know, like, I have definitely, when a new hero has had buffs and then I've had to now start learning that hero for my team so I can play better to a higher standard for my team, I've dropped ranks. But what matters
Yeah.
is that in the end you get better. And
The thing is, well, is if you are queuing the game, I think a lot of people are so precious about their wins and losses, where in reality your rank and whatnot is defined over a big portion of games, like several hundreds, really, right? Not just playing a couple of games a week or a couple of games a day, right? That's not it. So a lot of people like who are not improving themselves are afraid they're gonna go down, and whereas like if you're not improving yourself, you will drop no matter what. So it feels even harsher when they find somebody who is practicing a new tank, and they are losing, because they don't understand that you should transcend that single loss. That single loss, you should transcend that by playing more. That's
yeah,
part of the journey. And here's the reality of it: if you're actually better than that guy who lost that one game, that one guy will drop far down, and you will stay where you are versus also climbing, right? So it's just hard copium at that point as well.
yeah,
The individual game might be lost, but a singular loss out of your hands does not define your rank. It just feels a bit meh.
yeah.
Um,
It's not nice. It isn't
so
nice losing.
no, it's true, but also losing does not make you worse at the game. So if you're playing the game to improve, you will go higher.
Yeah,
Like if you're playing a whole game, sweating your ass off, improving on whatever weaknesses, whatever you know you're doing wrong with a character, that game, even though you lost, doesn't make your game worse. It makes your game better.
yeah,
So take that into account as well. And as said, um, Motor could go into quick play with Orisa and quote unquote practice Orisa, and he would go like 10-0 in quick play. But in ranked, it's the other way around. You lose 10 games.
yeah,
Right? Like it's day and night. There is no defending it. Like I could easily, with the new Mauga hero, go into quick play and win every single one of my quick plays, right, on Mauga. But I have not become any better because I haven't reached that point where I get punished for anything yet, right? Which
yeah,
in ranked, if I start winning a lot in rank, I start reaching a point where like, okay, this is the point where I don't naturally, with my skill ceiling, stomp people anymore. I am now getting punished and I'm losing my games. And losing games is exactly what you need to become better. You need to lose and you need to question yourself, why did I lose?
Coined this
Yeah.
term a little while ago. For anybody who's ever watched my streams, we don't deal in wins and losses. We deal in wins and learning opportunities. And actually, you can shorten that to being wins and lessons. So that's what you got to
Learning
focus on.
opportunities. Learning opportunities. If you're
You doing
going
what?
10-0, you have no learning opportunities. If
No,
you go 0-10, you have 10 learning opportunities.
probably more per game, to be fair.
Probably more,
Um,
yeah. Because even some of those wins will still have learning
yeah,
opportunities.
even the
To be fair.
wins, but it's just that mental thing of don't worry about the wins, don't worry about the losses. It doesn't matter. It literally does not. I've had I've had placements where I've went 2-15. That has literally happened on stream before. I've went 2-15, and then guess what? We made it back up, so it doesn't matter. Um, so nice to end on a little positive note for everybody. Don't lose faith in yourself. It's okay to go lose. Just make sure that you're improving and make sure that you're not tilting either. But yeah, I think that's all we've really got to talk about. So
My icon is so bugged. I need to
yeah, I
get
know
a
it
new
is
one.
really
It's my headset. My headset is just beyond like it's beyond like used up. It's used its quota. It has been abused too much.
Somebody donate this. Somebody go pay for this man's coaching sessions, so he can buy a new headset for this podcast.
Real, real. I
Okay,
promise they will be worth your time, regardless of rank.
he is worth it. But yeah, thank you for watching, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye bye.